So the story that's still rolling on today, the Oscars drama continues. Will Smith last night finally apologised to comedian Chris Rock for slapping him on stage after he made a joke about Will's wife, Jada. However, some people are saying his apology isn't enough and that Will Smith should be stripped of his Best Actor award for the assault. And a lot of people saying, Judy, don't forget, it is an assault. And that people calling that seems quite mixed, but today, even despite his apology, saying, well, should he even be allowed to keep that Oscar?
You know, look, let's be real about the situation. It was very uncomfortable to watch. It was very uncomfortable to watch from Will's side and from Chris Rock. I mean, I don't condone violence, but I do think that we are humans, and there's something he said about being in the public eye, that you're put in a position where you're constantly abused and there's only so much you can take, or people feel that you can take it where other people have the rights. And I think we all make mistakes. Whether his Oscar should be taken away, I think that has to be dealt with the Academy and what their protocols has to say.
Well, funny you say that, because I was reading about the Academy, and after the Me Too movement, after Harvey Weinstein, who's still got his Oscar, by the way, they issued new guidelines to their members, and they said the Academy is categorically opposed to any form of abuse, harassment or discrimination.
Well, if that's
so would
the
you
case,
not call what Will Smith did abuse?
Yes, I think, look, there's many cases where there's been abuse and violence and discrimination that has not been seen on air. I think the issue why it seems so propelled is because we saw it. We saw it live and had to witness it. But it's strange how some Oscars hasn't been taken away, but now Will Smith's one would be taken away. I think what we need to look at is that personally, I feel there's a lot more complex issues that Will Smith has actually faced, from his childhood to, obviously, the whole situation with his wife. And maybe in that moment he snapped. And as humans, we do. But is he aware of the consequences?
We do, and I agree with you.
I
Humans
think he
snap
needs to know.
we're not infallible. Everybody's human. However, you do accept, when you are in the public eye and you accept all the trappings of being in the public eye, the films, the money, the fame. Yeah. With that comes notoriety. That means you can't just go out and do what you want. Well, you can, but it will be written about and you will be judged and there will be consequences, Linda. You can't. You can't just say, oh well, just because you're famous doesn't mean that you can. You just can't do that without people talking about it.
I don't know if Chris Rock knew that she had alopecia, and I just think it was like a little gag that he said about G.I. Jane. I genuinely
But there's a close friend of his. I don't know if this is true. A close friend of his reportedly said today that he did not know, because we discussed this yesterday. I said if he didn't know she had alopecia, then it was a joke.
An innocent joke, honestly. I feel really sorry for Chris Rock as well. His poor face, and he's tiny, and Will's quite tall as well. Yeah. And he looked like a little boy standing there on the stage. And after he had slapped him, I thought he'd punched him, but apparently it wasn't. It was a slap. But his poor face, he just didn't know what to do. I just think it was so aggressive what Will did.
Yeah. It's interesting you say
there's a lot of double standards, and I definitely, you do not want people to feel that you condone violence, and I think that there's so much other mitigating circumstances around it. And no, it's not acceptable, and there has to be a consequence which he's going to deal with the Academy. He's apologised, but where does he move on with his individual healing? And we don't know all the other complexities outside of when they're, away from TV, what's been said or passed between each other beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, I think the issue is that he did it in such a massive forum. I mean, worldwide, in front of billions.
Unbelievable.
Because if that had happened backstage, we would have heard about it, but we wouldn't have spent 2 days talking about it. We've gone, oh, did you hear that they had a bit of a thing backstage? But because we've all witnessed it, it makes it so much worse. However, I don't think anyone is going to be more embarrassed, more upset than him himself. Yeah. And you can tell by his apology, he's not that type. We've never known Will Smith, ever, to be involved in anything. For some unknown reason, at that moment, he lost control. And I am not condoning what he did in any way, but the man has apologised. He's done everything.
So
he's probably never.
I
would definitely not take his Oscar away.
I do think it's worked hard, though. In that moment of him losing his temper, why didn't Jade come forward? Sorry.
Can we just somehow, we're all ready to go, oh, he shouldn't work again, he should give his Oscar back, he should do this. Can we not just accept that human beings make mistakes? If it was constant, I'd be going, he shouldn't work again. But because of his... He has...
But it's
a long career.
But if you had read that he had slapped his wife, people would be saying, that's domestic abuse, that man should not work again, that man should probably have his Oscar taken away. But it's like, it was just two guys squaring up. He was defending, I mean, this whole thing of, like, defending his wife's honour.
But I think there's a history.
He wrote about this in his book, didn't he? He was talking about, and has had many interviews where he's talked about being that little boy and feeling like he couldn't protect his mum. We don't know what psychologically, at that moment, when he saw that his wife was distressed or felt hurt, we don't know how he's seen Jada when her hair has been falling out and dealing with it. And in that moment, he just went into that little boy that wanted to protect his wife.
But what message does it send? What message does it send?
The message it sends is that you take that level of, you know, slapping someone, there's going to be a consequence.
Yeah.
And the consequence is that he has to deal with... He hasn't healed. He has to deal... He's lucky that, you know, Chris Rock is not pressing charges, but you never know. Oscars might be taken away.
He should have just pulled him aside after and said, look, you were out of order, you shouldn't have said that.
Yeah, and he's also kind of have to deal with that this will follow him for the rest of his career.
Yeah.
For the rest of his career.
Do you know what I also feel sorry for? The film that won the best Oscar, which is Coda, that nobody is talking about today. The whole story, and like you said, he'll never get away from this, will he?
No. And I must say, I do not want this to be an area where it's used definitely against a lot of black men. We know black men are at risk in America and around the world, and I don't want to be hearing like, oh, see, this is a typical black man being aggressive, because we don't know the complexity of the situation, and that's a worry from my perspective.
Well, I'm sure it is a story that's going to roll on for at least a few days, because I think the Academy are now having an investigation. There are a lot of people calling for him to have his Oscar taken away, other people saying no, he shouldn't, but he probably needs to get help. There was also, I heard a Hollywood reporter on, I can't remember, radio this morning, a rumour that a film that he was possibly up for might have gone away.
Oh, no.
So, you know, will it affect his career?
He's going to get punished, whatever. He is being punished.
I'm sure he's punishing himself. I'm sure he's punishing himself. We'd love to know what you think, because I said this story, I think, will run for a little while yet, so let us know what you think.